thing.
So you, oh, never mind, we already entered that question.
The link for the YouTube video will be corroded by then.
Yeah, there'll be some magnetic pulse or something from the sun that wipes everything out. All right, so test corrections. So let's say that there are 120 raw score points. So typically a problem for 10 points. I'm not gonna go into that. After I hand it back to you, if you want to know how I actually you'll probably get the test back. There'll be 3 numbers at the top and then the letter grade. So if you want to know how I came up with each of those 3 numbers, I will be glad to go into the excruciating detail. However, let's assume that you have the 3 numbers at the top, 120 raw score points, so you might have, let's say 50, 59, 43, and I've circled that. We'll circle the largest of the 3 numbers. If all 3 numbers are the same, which I think has happened once, then I might circle one of them or all of them, depends on my mood. In essence, I figure out what your raw score is 3 different ways, sometimes 4, and I take the largest of those. That dates back to my first year here, where I had a student who pretty much got all of the free response questions, but couldn't do multiple choice to save his life, and it just didn't seem fair. So this developed over the years. Okay, so anyway, you got 59 out of 120. For the sake of this, let's just assume that's a C. So you got 59, which means that you missed 61 points out of 59. So you got 59, you lost 61 points. Now you're doing test corrections. And on test corrections, you are doing that on separate paper. You're trying to convince me that you understand what you're doing. So if 2 people hand in the exact same thing, then that doesn't necessarily convince me of anything. So in your own words, again, trying to convince me. So you're somewhat successful. You convince me of, I have to pick bizarre numbers here.
60 points.
Well, we'll stick with 61. Let's say that you convince me that you understand 20 out of the 61 points that you missed. So what I do, so if that is a C, so old score, best possible new score. So if you got an A, B, C, D, F. All right, so if you got an F, you could bring it up to a C. If you got an A, you can bring it up to an A+, and then everything else is scaled from that. So 2 is halfway between 0 and 4, so you could possibly bring that up to a 3.15. So if this was a C, and you missed 61 points, and you convince me that you understand, a third of what you missed, then that's a 2.0. Plus the fraction of what you convinced me that you understand, which is 20 out of 61, times what you could possibly get. So you could increase the overall score by 1.15, and that's what's going to come out with a number. That's what your test grade is going to be.
So
Awesome.
do we have to explain why we got it wrong, or what do we have to write again?
All right, I don't require you to tell me why you got it wrong. You just need to tell me how it's supposed to be done.
Oh, okay.
However, I have found psychologically that when a student explains why they got it wrong, it is often more convincing than just writing down the correct answer. Well, if you just write down the correct answer, you get nothing. You need to show the work and explanation about why.
Like, can we do it mathematically, or do we have to write an essay?
I consider mathematics to be a language
Alright.
that, unless you get into some really funky stuff, I suspect I can read.
Alright.
If you get into some bizarre set theory stuff, I might ask you to translate that.
Okay.
How many questions are gonna be on the test?
I don't know yet. Look at the old test, that'll give you the best indication.
You said what?
Look at the old tests that I had posted, that's gonna give you the best indication about how long it's gonna be. I designed all my tests so that in my mind, it should take an hour.
So that
So
one.
about 2 hours.
Yeah, about 3 hours.
When I was worse at it, of timing, after 4.5 hours, at that point, I said, it's done, I gotta go home. That was a 251, 252 evening class, at 10:30, I was ready.
Oh my god.
I was ready to go.
4 hours?
It's usually one student, 251, 252 students, and some 151 students. Or I have a tendency to stare at a problem for a half hour, doing absolutely nothing but staring at the problem, hoping for inspiration.
That is so
Throwing
true.
gray hairs in real time.
I did that with a master set.
You're one of them.
Then usually the master said you can walk away and then come back the next day,
I
unless you wait till the last minute.
Like the graph one where you have to circle speeding up, that made me go psycho.
All right, so, how test corrections are gonna work in terms of scoring. When you do test corrections, you might hear this again. Corrections on separate paper, don't use red ink. Yeah. Sorry, did I mention the guy in the video? I mentioned the lawyer question in one of the orientation videos, I think.
Lawyer question?
Yeah, there was one student, this CPCC, who occasionally would just start laughing in the middle of class. I don't know why. But we were discussing energy conservation, and he raised his hand, and I called on him, and he said, so if a lawyer works on 20 cases in his career, and a physicist works on one problem, aren't lawyers more important than physicists?
He has a point.
Well, and potentially it was an interesting debate, but not in the middle of the class when we're talking about something completely different. That was just wrong timing. But he also did a test in red ink. And then did the test corrections on the original test in red ink. And he did not get benefit of the doubt.
So Dr. Fox, for the test corrections, do we have to schedule for you, or do we have to like come in maybe like Friday since we?
Test corrections?
Yeah.
The test corrections, you take the test done when you work on it.
Oh.
Or you can work on it at school if you want to. Work on it wherever your bliss is.
Okay.
So like they have access to like all of our resources.
So I can
to-
just go leave it right there.
Yes, the ideal I'm shooting for, this is another chance to learn. You weren't able to retrieve it at the moment that you needed it, but this is the chance to go back and potentially a more relaxed setting and think about what it actually means. This is another chance to learn the material
Okay.
and convince me.
We appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yes.
much love to you, thank you.
Yes, yes.
You forgot a peace sign. It's
Yeah.
not, yeah, there you go.
For international viewers.
Are you gonna stand on the
That
table
was,
again
yeah,
today?
that was recorded, yeah.
Am I getting on the table again? I wasn't planning.
Okay.
It's
He does it when
spontaneous,
you least
it's because I'm
expect it.
whimsical. Other questions? Just don't tell Giovanni anything that we've talked about so far.
She's the first, she was.
Kiko?
Not about what we talked about, but are there
It's okay. It's okay.
are there any videos of you solving the problems? I know there's videos of topics.
Of my solving a problem, or what, you made it sound like specific problems. Like the master set questions,
Yeah,
there will
just
be,
like examples.
there'll be some videos that will be very similar to those.
Wow.
They should be posted now.
Okay.
They should be under videos to watch.
Do you have any videos, that pertain to the vectors that we did in the lab yesterday?
Yes, Alan was gonna email me,
I did.
and he had not emailed me when I looked. But, thank you. Yeah, apparently I missed his email.
It was 11:42.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So I should be posting something to help with that.
Okay, thank you.
And that's gonna be under chapter 3 videos to watch.
I probably will post it under the lab.
Okay.
I might categorize it like, it'd probably be for the lab, you open that up and then it'll be, oh wait, I can't do that if it's an assignment. I don't know what else I can post there.
Make another.
I'll find some way near the video, whether it's, you have to click on it first to see it, or whether
Could you put it
I have to
in
create
announcement?
a new content piece. It'll be somewhere where it, videos which might help.
Okay. Cool.
Anything else?
So lecture on today.
Wonderful things. All right, we'll start. A new one.